Hi, I'm Kathleen Reitz and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to take this painting of mine that I've had for a couple of years. I painted this in 2023. I've always liked it, but it just never quite fit in with a lot of my other work. Lately, I've been working on these collage pieces, and I'm really enjoying this process because I get to incorporate my paintings and collage work together, and it's been a lot of fun. And so I'm kind of on a kick right now where I'm working on collages. I've been sacrificing some of my older work or work that just doesn't fit anymore or that I want to bring new energy to. And I've been using some of my paintings as a base for collage work. And I've made a bunch of papers myself. So you can see I've got some of these beautiful papers that I've made. This one is on tissue paper. I've got these beautiful green papers that I made, and this is just craft paper that I then painted on and printed on. It's another one that's on craft paper. So I'll be working with those, and I have a color scheme in mind. As I said, I will be incorporating some of this painting into the final piece, but you can tell me when it's all over if you like the painting better, or if you like what I ended up doing with it, or if you think the whole thing was just a big mistake. So I'm going to dive into this, and I'll set up and we'll get started. For my collage adhesive, I am using Golden Brand Fluid Matte Medium. And I'm applying a generous layer of the matte medium to my canvas with an old brush. And now I'm positioning my tissue paper onto the canvas. Tissue paper wrinkles really easily and it's very delicate, so I have to be very gentle and careful with it. But once I've got it positioned on there, I use another layer of the liquid matte medium and I paint over the paper with it. And this is going to seal the paper to my canvas. One thing I really like about using tissue paper is that it is very transparent. So in this case, I definitely want some of the painting underneath to show through, and the tissue paper allows for that. Now I've got a more opaque piece of paper that I'm applying to my canvas, and I am allowing it to overlap the tissue paper a little bit. For my color scheme, I really like this painting. It's a little bit bright and saturated, but I really do like the purples and pinks and greens. So I'm going to carry that over into the colors of the collage papers that I use. The matte medium has kind of a milky white color to it, but it dries completely transparent. So when it comes to using collage papers and planning out my composition, I'm not really planning the composition at this point. I just want to start somewhere. And right now I'm starting at the top and the sides of the painting, and I just want to see how things begin to evolve before I can really see where this composition is going to be going. I I know this looks like a really big piece of paper, but trust me, I have a plan. There will be lots of layers that will be on top of all the pieces that I'm putting down right now. So kind of in the same way that I build up layers in a painting, I'm doing the same thing with my collage papers. And right now, my goal also is to tone down some of the painting, so I don't mind covering up quite a bit of it with collage papers. And most of the purples that I used in my papers, they're more on the mauve side, so they're not this intense purple like you see on the painting itself. So again, just my strategy is to tone down the painting a little bit. So this paper right here, I really like it. It's mostly white with splotches of very deep muted purple ink on it. And I like it a lot, but because it's so high contrast, I'm trying to figure out where I want to put it and how I can make it work with my painting. And the reason I'm pointing this out is because you'll see me use it quite a bit. And right now, where I have put it, this first place that I've put it, is where I start to plan out the composition of the painting. And again, when I talk about composition, it's the design of the painting. Composition is a tool that is used to create eye flow. So basically, I am trying to figure out where I want to put this paper, strategically placing it so that I can train your eye to move around the canvas and look exactly where I want your eye to look. Aside from the collage papers that I made, I also have a few handmade papers that I had been saving for a few years in a flat file. And this right here, I love this. It's just so pretty. It's rice paper that is very transparent. Once I put it down on the painting, you'll be able to see quite a bit of the painting showing through the transparent areas. And then it has those pretty delicate white circles. I really like it. I think it's going to add a lot of nice design elements to my composition. One of the nice things about using matte medium as an adhesive is that it takes a while to dry. So I can place my pieces of paper on the canvas, and if I don't like the way it looks, I can always peel them off and reposition them in other areas of the canvas until I like the way that it looks. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to my channel. I want to point out here the different variety of shapes and sizes and colors of paper that I'm using, and that's all very intentional. I want to add a lot of interest and variety to this piece. Another way to add interest and variety is to use different thicknesses and textures of paper. So some of these green pieces with the white edges, these are actually prints that I had printed on my professional printer of some of my paintings, and they didn't turn out for one reason or another. I decided to save them, and I have ripped them up and now using them for my collage. This is some more beautiful handmade paper that I found in a drawer that I had been saving for such an occasion as this. Because I love creating floral paintings, I like to carry that theme also into my collage work. And here I'm just trying to figure out exactly where I want to put this element. To keep kind of a nice floral or botanical feel to my collage papers, for some of these elements, I snipped off a couple of branches from a boxwood shrubbery that I have in my backyard, and I rolled the branches in paint and then pressed them onto my tissue paper. So for example, with this piece here, I painted my tissue paper green, and then I pressed the boxwood branch onto the paper that had been rolled in white paint. I also rolled some of the boxwood branches in pink paint, as you can see here. And this piece of paper right here was made using baby's breath that I dipped into white paint and pressed against the green tissue paper. If you would like to see me create an online class someday where I teach you how to make your own collage papers and create collage paintings, please let me know in the comments. I'm considering it for the fall season of this year. So here I am back to focusing on that high contrast paper that I made with the deep muted purple ink. And now I'm just going to start going around, and mostly I'm going to use it in the bottom area of my painting. Sometimes it takes a while to figure out the placement of my elements, but it's always worth it to um, position and reposition the paper until I feel like I've got it right. Since I started at the top of my canvas, now I'm adding elements to the bottom to give it some balance and a little bit more weight at the bottom of my canvas. Now, here's a jar of paint that I mixed myself. It's kind of a nice off-white color that you've seen me use in a lot of my abstract work. And now I'm going to go in and I'm going to paint over some of my collage papers. And I'm doing this just to kind of soften some of the edges a little bit and add some places that give your eye a chance to rest. This will help to keep my piece from feeling too cluttered and too busy. Now I've decided to finish this piece off with some pretty bright pink shapes. And I'm using these both at the bottom and the top of my canvas to keep the canvas feeling balanced. If you're enjoying this collage demo, be sure to watch this video until the very end because I will link for you a playlist of a couple of my most recent collage videos. I'm back and I just wanted to give you a little review of this piece here and what I did to take it from the original painting to where it is now. So you can see I've got some of the painting still showing through in a lot of areas, mainly these purple areas, and then up here you can see it through this transparent paper here. Then these areas where I used this paper where it was tissue paper with this deep plum colored ink splotches. I kept a lot of that down here, and I do want to point out that one way to add composition and eye flow is through high contrast. So these are my darkest areas on this piece, and I have them mostly at the bottom. I do have a couple of pieces towards the top just to add balance and make it feel cohesive. Also I wanted to point out these areas where I decisively and very intentionally added green. So I used elements from my garden and pressed them into paint and then pressed them onto these papers. I feel like it gives the piece a very botanical, sort of a floral feel, which fits in very much with my paintings. So with my creative work, I think this does fit nicely. One of the last things you saw me do was to add the pink paper. And I love this color. I think this color scheme really works well together with the pinks, purples, and greens, which was my vision from the beginning. I intentionally added this row of pink right here because I felt like it created kind of a nice vertical to bring your eye up. And then next to it, I have this off-white color that I had mixed a jar of myself. And you've seen me put glazes in my paintings in order to soften edges and obliterate certain areas so that it doesn't feel too busy. So another way we create eye flow and make a very balanced, agreeable painting is to sometimes just go ahead and sacrifice some areas and obliterate them. So that's what I did. I softened a lot of my edges, which, as you know, if you've seen me paint, you know I do that in my paintings with glazes. So here, you know, this is no different. So I did the same technique here with my collage where I painted over some areas. So I have kind of this nice path carved out in the painting, and I'm really happy with that. Overall, just very happy with how this turned out. And as much as I liked the original painting, sometimes it's important to sacrifice certain pieces that no longer serve our current work in order to improve or just make our work feel more like it aligns with the other current work that we're doing in our art practices. So I would love to know what you think. Here is before pictured on the left and then after pictured on the right. Do you like the before or after? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and I also wanted to, as always, wish you happy painting, happy collaging, whatever it is that you do in your creative practice in order to feed your soul this week. I hope that you do it, and I will see you next time. Bye.